What a way to start out 2018. Wait till you see what I've got in this hole right here. Did something different today. I've got my gain turned down to 5, ran it in 6 a little bit, but turned it down to 5. And I have had as good a day as I've had in a long time. I may have been overshooting some of these things. I got the GPX out in the 44 woods, and this one's laying right next to this log. It is a 44. I think it's probably just been chewed by a varmint. I don't think it's been fired. It's right down the hill from where we find a lot of 44s. Still giving them up. I want you to hear what this sounds like right here. You see this big root right here? It was laying right up under the bottom of that. It's a fired 50 caliber Gallagher bullet. We don't find too many fired bullets here, but that one is that's a fired bullet. I'm down below where I normally find bullets. I'm just going real slow. Turn my gain down to about 5 or 6 and just picking through some junk here. But I want you to look right here what I have found. Couldn't believe it. You can see this old cedar tree is down right here in front of me, and I'm just in a thicket right here in the 44 woods, and I'm right up under this cedar tree, right up under the bottom of it. I got a screaming signal right here, and I can see it. I can see a round disc right there. I don't know if that's a button. No, it's not. That's a large scent. Dead gum. Another large scent. Let me get it cleaned off and I'll get right back to you. That's what it is. A large scent. And I think they were trying to put a hole right there. It's not all the way through, but and I can't get a date. I can see Liberty in the headband right there though. And that's what it is. It's a large scent. I'll get a date and leave it on this clip here. Wow, what a great find. Still around this old cedar tree that's fell down. I found that large scent right there. And I moved up the hill to right here. I don't know, it may be a little over a foot. And got a Gallagher, and it's been fired. You see where it's hit right there. And I'm glad I came up here today. Great finds. A few weeks back, there was a guy that started commenting on our videos, Chris Hamsoff. And so I paid the favor back, went over to his channel and gave it a look, subscribed to him. This is a great channel. He does Civil War hunting there in Missouri, hunts a bunch of old homesteads and things like that. I know that you're gonna like this channel, so go check him out. Chris Hamsoff. Like, subscribe, and share, and be sure and tell him
that Digging with Seven sent you.
I'm just going in all of this junk right here and just moving limbs and things around. Most of our hunting is above that brush pile right there and over to the left. And I've got a hole here. This may be a fired 69 round ball. It seems pretty big though. I'm gonna have to get in and mic that. That may be my first 72 caliber round ball. If it is, this is an early bullet right here. We'll see what it is. This one here was a screaming high tone. It's down fairly deep. I don't know, it's probably 8 inches deep in that hole right there. Boy, it sure sounded good. It's the top off of a Gallagher case, 50 caliber Gallagher. Tell you what I did on this GPX today. Whenever I came in, I turned my gain down to about 5 or 6. I've been overshooting a bunch of these. That is probably the whitest Gallagher that I've ever pulled out of here, and it wasn't that deep. Man, that's a great bullet right there. And I've hunted this, but these signals like this have been trying to null on me because I've been running too hot. That's just a drop. Great find. What a day I'm having. This day just keeps getting better. I got a 44 here. Colt. That's a really nasty bullet. I rubbed on it there a little bit and can't get it cleaned off much. It's a drop, as most of them are. I'll add that to today's collection. Don't find a lot of round balls up here in this part of the camp. Still got a sprue on the top. So that one's never been fired. May have been poured up here with the 44s. It was a good, sweet little sound. I'm just down the hill from where I found that other 40 caliber. And now that hole right there, pretty deep. I've got another 40 caliber round ball. This one has got a little sprue on it right there. Didn't think it did, but it does. It's a drop. That's a deep hole right there. It's about 10 inches deep, and this Gallagher was laying right in the bottom of it. 50 caliber. I believe it's a drop. I hit it a little bit right here. Yeah, I tell you, lowering my gain down to, I'm running on 5 right now. Lowering my gain down really helped. This bullet sounded great, and it that deep. I've been overshooting some of those with too much power on the gain. Me and Jeff actually hunted this spot, I guess maybe a couple of weeks ago. And I wanted him to bring his GPX in here and see what kind of targets that he could find. We had a decent hunt. Didn't find that much. I think only found one bullet and a few Gallagher cases and what have you. Well, here are the clips on that.
Here you go, Seth.
Don't tell nobody where we're at.
Oh, they won't be here no long.
That is a sweet little bullet, ain't it?
Yeah, it is.
Somebody said the other, I think it was Liz with Digging Canuck, that was a pretty bullet.
Yeah, it was right next to this tree, this little sapling. It wasn't maybe 5 inches deep.
Good job. Let's find some more. Out of that hole there, which is probably about almost 9 inches deep, I've got a Gallagher case. Pretty deep. Sounded good. It was a little weak, but sounded good. Almost find as many of those as you do 44s. Jeff's right down there behind the tree. I don't know what he's digging. He's got a 44 and I've got this. We got a few nails. Well, Jeff said he's got something behind this tree. We'll go down here and see what it is. Signals sound a little bit better today than they have. Oh yeah, you got a Gallagher case too.
Yeah.
Hole would be right there.
Yeah.
I still think they were breaking these Gallaghers apart and making 44s. That's what I think. There you go, Bubba.
Thank you very much.
That hole right there got another 50 caliber Gallagher case. And what's special about that find right there is that there's a nail right next to it. But I could hear that next to that nail. I'm learning the old GPX.
It's an odd find.
Yeah, that's all we found today, except you just got one bullet, ain't you?
Uh-huh. I mean,
I don't have a bullet.
You don't have a bullet?
Mm-mm.
All that swinging, no bullet?
No, all Gallagher cases. There's another one.
I was hoping you got all them.
But I tell you what, that's as much a Civil War relic as
Oh, yeah.
a 69 fatty.
Yeah.
We just don't like to find them as well.
Yeah. Well, I'll take it then.
Yeah. And then I had the pleasure of going down and speaking to the Murfreesboro, Tennessee Metal Detecting Club. And Ron Reed and I had a chance to get out and go down to the Tennessee-Alabama border and hunt for a few hours down there before the meeting that night. And hunted around an old historic house there and a spot where they found a few Civil War bullets. And we found a few relics at that place. Well, it's cold whenever I left Kentucky, but it's kind of warm down here in Alabama. Down here with Ron today. He's got
nice and green.
First find of the day. Good green wheat penny.
Yep, I was hoping it was going to be an Indian, but it looks like 1941, I think.
Well, that's a good find, though.
I'll take it.
Yep. There's an incredible amount of wind. I'm trying to shield it the best I can. I've got a wheat sin here. I'm down here with Ron Reed, down toward the Alabama-Tennessee line. Hunting an old place here that has got a lot of history, a lot of Civil War history and other things. That's a keeper. There isn't anybody that hunts old sites that doesn't find one of those right there. And that's horse tack, and that's probably off of an old Hames. And those of you that don't know what a Hames is, well, here's the story on the Hames. These iron rings like this one that Ron found are very common relic finds when you hunt these older sites. They were used on various types of horse tack. Rings are most commonly found on horse harnesses, which allows a horse or a mule to be hitched to and then pull various horse-drawn vehicles or implements. You know, there are two main categories of horse harnesses: the breast strap design used for light work and the collar and Hames harness design used for heavy work. Light work would include duties such as a horse show competition where light carts are being pulled, and heavy work would include pulling very heavy loads such as a plow or a disc. The breast strap harness transfers the pulling weight to the front of the chest of the animal and thus can only be used for light work, as a heavy workload would restrict the airflow to the lungs. The collar and Hames harness places the weight of the load onto the horse or mule's shoulders. It does not apply any restriction on the air supply. For heavy hauling, the harness must include a horse collar to allow the animal to use its full weight and strength. These iron rings were used in various places on the harness rigs to accommodate the leather reins or lines or traces. These larger rings were commonly found on both the Hames and the collar. Some of the more expensive models even had brass rings. So now you know a little bit more about the Hames and collar harness and how these iron rings were used. We've dug 500 holes.
510.
510. And I tell you what, I've never seen so many little pieces of copper wire. I don't know if you've dug any.
No, I've got lots of little pieces of copper, but no copper wire. First bullet though, it is chewed up. It is fired and flattened.
It is.
But that's going to be a Civil War bullet right there.
Yeah. That's what we're after. We just ain't found none.
Gives us hope.
I'm thinking about going to the other side over there. Old house right here that me and Ron are hunting. Very historical. And he said he's got a shallow.
Couldn't have been but 3 inches down there. I just dug a stinking Lincoln. I could tell it's an Indian head. It's got the shield there.
Yeah, yeah.
I hadn't looked at the date. I hadn't cleaned it off the front there.
Boy, everything here has got that good green patina.
Yeah, nice green. I like that.
You might be able to see that. I can't. Maybe 1903?
1904.
1904. That's close.
Close.
Good job. Still out in front of this old house. I hadn't really found anything until now. But I've got a, what I believe is, I told Ron, I think it's pewter salt shaker top. That would make it pretty old. You can tell the way it's broke right there. That looks like pewter to me. I'll take that. I hadn't gotten much today. Ron got an Indian head.
I was feeling bad, man. I got one bullet in an Indian head.
Yep. That's relic hunting. I mean, you just don't ever know. It's a great looking old spot. We're gonna have to leave though, because the cops are coming to get us. Well, this here's a little bit more down my alley. Got a great seal button. Been a while since I found a great seal. Shank is still there. Got a bite mark on it. Screaming signal. First signal I got after I took my headphones off. I tell you what, after you hunt for 2 or 3 years without headphones, it's hard to do it. With the headphones on, the signals just don't sound the same to me. I took them off.
I go the other way. I gotta have them on so I can hear.
Yeah. This one here came screaming in on the AT Pro. It's wheat. I can't get a date off of it. I will, probably. And leave it in the description here. It wasn't that deep. Not as deep as that hole is. But anyway, that's a good find. Thank you guys for watching today. Certainly do appreciate it. Want to remind you to be sure and check out our radio podcast, Relics Radio on Spreaker, and catch us there every Thursday night at 6 o'clock Central Standard Time. Catch us here on YouTube every Tuesday. So, till next week, we'll see you next Tuesday.